it's me, Claire, and I am back with another video. But this is a story time video, and I think a lot of us can relate because a lot of people who are not from America might have similar stories on how they became to live in America. I think I just messed up that sentence, but English was not my first language. Well, it kind of was, but it kind of wasn't. We'll get into that. I am going to tell you guys about how my family and I moved from South America, Suriname, to the United States when I was 10 years old. Let's get started. So, I was born in New York City. My sister and my brother and I were all born in New York City. My father and my mother, however, are born and raised in South America, Suriname. They met and then they came to the United States and they had us. When I was 3 years old, my dad was like, hey guys, I'm moving you guys to Suriname and I'll stay in America and I will send you guys money. You know, he'll send my mom money to take care of the family. If you're a foreigner or you're from like, you know, not the United States, then you might be able to relate to this when, you know, a parent stays in the United States and they send the children or the wife money in wherever country they're from. So that's how it was supposed to be. But homeboy didn't do that, all right? So my mom was pretty much a single mom, going to school. She was also a teacher and taking care of 3 kids. It was rough, but my mom made it work. She made it freaking work. All of our friends till this day still love my mom. My mom was just amazing, okay? So doing it on her own, but married to a man. So, you know, I moved back to my country when I was 3 years old. I went to elementary school there, pre-K, you know, first grade, all that stuff. I went to school in Suriname. So my childhood was amazing. I got to play outside. I got to climb trees. I got to run on plantations. I got to just go to the binnenland in Suriname. I got to go to rivers, Kola, Kreek, Bersaba. Those were the places back then. I got to do all of that stuff. We had a small house. Well, it wasn't even a small house. Well, at first we had a really, really small house. But then my mom was able to move us into a bigger house, which is the house that I really, really remember. And it was like a dirt road. I had all my friends. We rode our bikes. We were just, Suriname life for me growing up was amazing, absolutely amazing. We jumped in lakes that probably had crocodiles in it and we didn't care because we was jumping in that lake. My brother and my sister had a great time too. My brother and my sister were bosses. So I was a boss too because they were older than me. Nobody messed with me because they know my brother and my sister will come get you. Let's make sure this wig is on right. So one morning, it had to be a weekend because we weren't at school, and one morning we hear a gate like clunk 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 clunk. It's a metal gate. We hear a gate going off and my mom jumps up and it's my boy cousin out there. I'm not sure if this guy is my cousin. I think he is though, but it's my boy cousin at the gate and he's like, hey, oh, blurry focus. It's my boy cousin at the gate and he's like, hey, you guys have to come to my aunt's house, Tante's house. You know, you have a phone call. It's very urgent. You have to come. So just a backstory on that. My father would always call us at my great aunt's house and then we would ride our bikes. We didn't have cars. Suriname didn't have cars like that back then. Now Suriname is full of cars. Y'all need to chill with all that driving because traffic in Suriname is crazy. So we all get up and we ride our bike to my great aunt's house. And my grandmother, my father's mom, was on the phone and she was screaming, you know, just screaming. And then we gathered that my father had passed away. He had died. And my sister, I remember her really breaking down and crying. She was really crying. And I was just in a complete state of shock. I was just quiet. I was just sitting there. My mom was crying. Everybody was just crying. And I was just sitting there like, Papa is dope. You know, I was just like in shock. So we had to go to my father's funeral and my mother started to make arrangements to go to my father's funeral. And my mother did so much stuff to get all of our visas, all of this, all of that, for us to be able to travel to the United States and go to my father's funeral. And it was hard. I remember like my cousins drove us to the airport. It was just like a roller coaster going on. One minute I was in school, the next minute I was on my way to America. I remember being on the airplane, my ear popping like crazy. We took an airplane to the United States. My ears were popping like crazy in the airplane. I remember the airplane food being so delicious. And then I remember actually setting foot in the United States, and it was like, oh my God. It was such a huge culture shock, guys. It was something straight out of the movies. Everything about the United States smelled good. We were in Florida because we buried my dad in Florida. I don't really know much about that whole situation with my father. Honestly, I really didn't know him like that. But I know he was a good uncle to my cousins, but I don't know. In the meantime, my older brother had also, my dad had sent for my older brother. So my older brother was living with my dad for about 2 years now. I think about around 2 years now. So all of a sudden I see my older brother. He was big, guys. He left like at 14 years old or maybe 12 years old. Now I'm seeing him at like, I don't know how old he was, honestly, because I was 10 years old. I don't remember. But he was older than me. And he was just this big, handsome, beautiful black man. And I remember feeling so safe in his arms and him just being like, Thusi. My nickname was Thusi. And then we went to my father's funeral. My aunt was there. You know, we just went to my aunt. We just went to my father's funeral. There was people there I didn't know. I don't really remember much. Like, now that I'm really like sitting down and thinking, I don't really remember a lot of my father's funeral. But you know, we did the funeral stuff, and then somehow we landed in New York City at my mom's younger sister's. My mom's younger sister, I'm giving this all the way shade. She is the biggest BIT. Anyways, guys, so we ended up going over there. Mind you, my mom and her 3 kids, my sister, myself, and my brother. We ended up going to New York City to her sister's house, but that didn't work out. It was a very small apartment in the projects, so that didn't work out. And then my aunt, which is my father's sister now, invited us to move with her to Florida. Now, I don't remember how my mom or whatever made the decision that we're staying in the United States and we're not going back to Suriname, but the decision was made, and obviously I didn't have any say so in the decision. I was 10 years old, but I was loving America. I was loving American cartoons. I was loving American food, which is crazy because now all I crave is my Suriname food. But when I first came here, I was loving the cereals. I was loving the food, the cable, the everything, the buildings, the everything to me was so, it was such a culture shock. And I don't think people realize what a culture shock that is for kids when you take them out of their environment and bring them to America. You should prepare them because it was a culture shock. So anyways, now we're living with my aunt in Florida, which is my father's sister. And we end up moving into our own apartment. My aunt moved us really, really far into a very expensive neighborhood that my mom could not afford. I'm not sure how this lady convinced my mom to move there. We didn't even have a car, so we were taking a bus at like 5 o'clock in the morning. Now this is Florida. Florida is quite different than New York. This is Florida where the bus, there's no trains, but the buses run like every hour, every 30 minutes, every 20 minutes, and we had to take the bus at like 5 o'clock in the morning. But later on, we end up moving into a smaller apartment, neighborhood that wasn't as nice as the neighborhood we were living in before, but my mom could afford it. You know, it made more sense. My first day of school was crazy because, mind you, I came here to the United States and I didn't speak no English. My English was extremely limited. It was really, really small. So when I first came here, I literally could not really communicate in English with the other students. And the first time I came here, they put me in the classes where you need to learn how to speak English. But when I walked into that class, I thought it was a class for dumb people because I got up in there and these people were wild. Like, they were just something I had not seen before. The girls had their belly button pairs, they had their shirts tied up. In my country, I'm freaking like 10 years old, you know, like, we're not doing that. The American kids were a lot more grown than the kids in my country. So it was just insane. And I actually took a test, and that test determined which classes I would take, and they put me in the dumb classes. However, they would say it's for the kids who don't speak no English, but these kids were like out of control. So I came back home to my mom and I was like, I'm not going back to that school. I'm not sitting in that class with those dumb kids. Shade, I know, y'all, but that's what I was thinking back then. So my mom switched schools for me and she put me in Plantation, a school called Plantation Middle. And when I went there, I just went to regular classes. I remember the kids were trying to make fun of me, but nobody is going to bully me, even though I kind of have like a bully story with this girl. But no, you're not gonna bully me. You won't have to fight me. I'm gonna stick up for myself. I might be scared, but not no more. But back then, I might have been scared, but you would never know. And the kids were teasing me. They would say things to me like, you're a Haitian, your whole generation, and you have no sensation. You know, it was just crazy what kids would tease you about, you know? And I never saw anything wrong with Haitians. It was just like, what are y'all talking about? And what does sensation mean? And whose generation? I was just like confused. So, these kids try to tease me. And I was like, nah, you're not gonna tease the kids. It's not going down like that. And I would try to talk back to them, but I couldn't because I couldn't speak English like that. So I went home, guys, and in the mirror, I looked in the mirror and I started to teach myself how to curse motherfuckers out. Excuse my language. But I was like this in the mirror: you fucking asshole, you fucking asshole, you fucking asshole. And that is how I learned to speak English. I taught myself to curse so I could curse these kids the back out. And it took me a few months, honestly, it took me years to adjust to this new lifestyle, to this new language, to this new teaching, to new everything. Plus, America's schools are way behind in Suriname schools. So that was something else I had to adjust to. But after a while, I adjusted. I kind of had a bully, but it wasn't because of my English or where I was from. It was just because she was a bitch. And but she didn't know I was scared of her. But I was a little low-key scared of her, but she didn't know because I was standing up for myself. If you have a bully, listen, you could be scared. Stand up for yourself. Always stand up for yourself. And I've learned that from when I was younger. My brother and my sister taught me, always stand up for yourself. It does not matter. Stand up for yourself. That's why can't nobody try and bully me, because it's just, no, it's not happening. So anyways, that was my story of coming to America. I hope you learned something new from me today. I would love for you guys to leave some comments down below, and I would love to hear your stories of coming to America. If you want to and you have a YouTube video, create this tag, coming to America. What was that like for you? And thank you so much for watching. This story was really interesting to me. Kind of going back in time and thinking about certain situations was really interesting to me. Sandy, if I said something incorrect, please leave a comment down below and let me know if I said something that was incorrect, because you were older than me, so you might know better than I did. Sandy's my older sister, y'all. Anyways, with that being said, I really hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you give me a big thumbs up. Turn on your notifications so you can be notified every time I upload a video. And talk to y'all later. Bye.